Hey Afternoon Fantastic, my name is Luke, and this week's topic is dealing with dysphoria. For those of you who haven't seen me before, I've been a member of Fantastic since about April 2015. I've been very busy this year, so I've really struggled to actually get videos out there, but I'm trying this thing where I film a lot of videos at once, like Chase, and edit them all so I actually can post them on time. So we'll see how that goes. Now that I'm on holidays, I actually have a lot more time to actually post and upload videos, so hopefully I'll be more consistent. If you want to know more about me, I have a personal channel, I'll link it below. I have a video that I've just put out about where I've actually been, sort of a bit of an update on me. I'm going to try and do the same thing that I'm doing here, so I've got consistent videos on my personal channel as well. Feel free to subscribe there if you want to see more of me. Anyway, so this week's topic is dealing with dysphoria. I'm 21 now. I realized I was trans when I was about 14 or 15, so I've had a very long time to learn to deal with the different types of dysphoria that I've had over the course of my life and my transition. Something that I've realized is that dealing with dysphoria is very different when you're pre-something compared to when you're post-something. So for example, if you're pre-testosterone, your feelings about dysphoria about your body is very different to how they are post-testosterone. And that seems very obvious. Obviously dysphoria lessens, but I found that I was dysphoric about different things after testosterone than I was before testosterone, because it's almost like there's a hierarchy of dysphoria, and certain people find things that are more uncomfortable than other people. So for example, for me, I was really self-conscious about my voice, and I was really self-conscious about my face structure and how feminine I looked, and Shark Week. Once I went on testosterone, my voice lowered. Shark Week stopped, and my face got more masculine. My dysphoria turned to other things. So my chest dysphoria got a lot worse, because I was focusing more on my chest than I was pre-T, because the things that I was focusing on, and that I was mainly dysphoric about, weren't things that I was dysphoric about anymore. My chest dysphoria was so much worse after I started testosterone than it was before testosterone. Before testosterone, even though my chest dysphoria was really bad, my dysphoria in general was just dispersed over the whole of my body. So I didn't feel so bad about my chest, because I was also feeling just as bad about my voice, and I was feeling just as bad about my feminine face, feeling just as bad about Shark Week. And I think something that I really wish that I did before starting my medical transition was thinking about how I wanted to present. One of the ways I dealt with my dysphoria was thinking about my life in the future when I was going to have surgery or, you know, be on hormones and and how amazing everything's gonna be. And that's not what life actually was like. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't, you know, look forward to the future, but be mindful that you're being realistic, because then once you get to that point, you'll feel disappointed. Because that's what happened with me. I pictured myself after being on hormones for a year. I was expecting myself to be super masculine and, you know, basically done with my medical transition, heavy quotation marks here. And I never really thought too much of it. And then when I got to a year on testosterone, I wasn't at the place I was expecting to be. I didn't have a full beard, I wasn't super masculine, I didn't have as broad shoulders as I expected, and a whole bunch of other things that just didn't happen in the way I expected them to. And then that's not saying that I'm unhappy or that I was unhappy. You know, when I hit a year on hormones, I was very happy, and I was a lot more, I feel a lot less dysphoric the further on I go in my transition. That's why I transitioned to begin with. But I wasn't realistic with how I thought my dysphoria would be after a certain point. With that knowledge, I have learned from that, and now I'm waiting for lower surgery, because that's something I do intend on having, and I'm trying really hard to be more realistic about it, because I found that I was very much in the slum after top surgery, because I felt like, what now? I thought that this would be the answer to everything. I thought that this would solve everything. I thought that I would feel amazing, and I wouldn't have any dysphoria at all, and everything would be great, and that's just not how it was. And I don't think that's how it's gonna be after lower surgery as well, you know? I can look forward into the future to when I finished my transition, and I've had all the surgeries I'm gonna have, and I'm at that point, and I probably still will feel dysphoric about certain things. I might feel bad on some days, but you know what? That's okay. And I'm allowing myself to be more comfortable with the fact that I do have dysphoria. Instead of trying to run from it, instead of trying to hide from it, I'm trying to acknowledge it. That's sort of how I'm dealing with dysphoria now. Now that I'm a bit older, now that I'm further down my path, it's a lot easier for me to actually see that with hindsight. But at the time, when I was 15, 16, and really dysphoric, all I wanted to think about was when one day I was going to be super muscly, and super strong, and super hairy, and have a flat chest, and everything was going to be great. In some ways that's good, but just be careful, because you don't want to end up biting yourself in the butt further down and feeling worse about yourself because you had these unrealistic expectations for what you were going to be like. Dealing with dysphoria is something that constantly evolves as your dysphoria evolves, because dysphoria does evolve. It doesn't always just stay the same, and sometimes it's irrational, sometimes it's completely unnecessary, but it's just how it is. And I find that the best options for me are to distract myself, or I talk about it. Sometimes I have a little cry, and I'll feel better afterwards. I'll put on clothes that make me feel more affirmed, or I'll go for a walk, do some exercise, just distract myself, just get out of the way, watch some videos on YouTube, or play a game, and that generally makes me feel a bit better. But I think sometimes telling myself that I'll get past this, and it'll be okay, even if it's not how I want it to be at the moment, that it will be better. But I'm more realistic about that than I was before, if that makes sense. Anyway, I hope this video helped. See you guys next week. Bye.